It's been 3 days since I stopped replying. 3 days since I left her message on read. 3 days of silence where there used to be constant noise. And you know what happened? She texted me twice yesterday, called once this morning. Hey, you okay? Like she suddenly cares. But let me tell you how I got here. Because 6 months ago, I would have responded in 30 seconds. I used to be the most available person she knew. Text at 2 a.m. I'm awake. Cancel plans with my friends? No problem. She's suddenly free. She'd say jump. I'd already be in the air asking how high. And I thought that's what love looked like. Being there. Always. Unconditionally. Like some kind of emotional 24/7 convenience store. I was so wrong it hurts to think about. The thing about being always available is this, and I wish someone had told me this before I wasted 6 months. When you're always there, you're never valued. When you're always free, you're never a priority. When you always respond, your responses stop mattering. I learned this the hard way, through texts sent and ignored, through plans I kept while she cancelled, through waiting, so much waiting. There was this one night. I remember it clearly because it was the night something small died inside me. She texted, "You up?" at 2:47 a.m. I was asleep, but I woke up when my phone vibrated, saw her name. My heart did that stupid thing where it jumped. I texted back immediately, "Yeah, what's up?" Read receipt. Read at 2:48 a.m. No response. I stayed awake until 4 a.m. thinking maybe she fell asleep. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she's okay. Maybe something's wrong. I crafted 12 different follow-up texts. Everything okay? Delete. You there? Delete. Did you need something? Delete. Sent nothing. Finally passed out around dawn. She responded at 11 a.m. the next day. "Sorry, fell asleep, LOL." And I said, "No worries." With an exclamation point, like a fucking idiot. That wasn't the only time. There was the weekend I kept completely clear because she said, "Maybe we can hang out." Maybe. I turned down 2 parties, cancelled on my brother, stayed home Saturday night watching my phone. She never confirmed. Sunday evening she posted herself at brunch with friends. "Sorry, this weekend got crazy." Or the time she asked me to pick her up from the airport. I rearranged my whole day, got there 30 minutes early, waited in the cell phone lot. She texted from baggage claim, "Oh, my friend surprised me. She's giving me a ride. But thanks anyway." Thanks anyway. Like I hadn't just wasted 3 hours of my day. That was my pattern. Always available, always understanding, always waiting for crumbs, and pretending they were a full meal. Here's what I didn't understand then. Every time I responded immediately, I was teaching her something. I was teaching her that my time wasn't valuable, that I had nothing better to do than wait around for her texts, that I had no life, no priorities, no self-respect. I was training her to treat me like an option, and she learned that lesson perfectly. You want to know when I started changing? It wasn't planned. It wasn't some strategic game. I just got tired. Tired of being the one who always reached out first. Tired of keeping my schedule open, just in case she wanted to see me. Tired of feeling like I was auditioning for her attention every single day. So I stopped. Not dramatically. I didn't block her or send some long message explaining myself. I just stopped being available. When she texted, I finished what I was doing first. Reading, watching a movie, having dinner. Sometimes that took an hour, sometimes 3. Sometimes I fell asleep and responded the next morning. Not to punish her. Just because I was actually living my life again. When she asked to hang out sometime, I stopped saying, "I'm free whenever." I started saying, "I'm busy Tuesday and Thursday, but I could do Friday at 7. Specific time, specific day. Take it or leave it. When she sent those little breadcrumb texts, "Hey" or "Wide" or "I'm bored," I stopped treating them like emergencies requiring immediate response. Sometimes I responded, sometimes I didn't. Depended on if I actually had something to say. I stopped being the backup plan. When she'd text Friday night with, "What are you doing?" I started saying, "I have plans," instead of dropping everything to be available. And here's the crazy part. Half the time, I didn't even have plans. I was just watching Netflix at home. But I said I had plans anyway, because sitting alone watching Netflix was still a plan. It was still choosing how to spend my time. It was still more valuable than being her last-minute entertainment option. And you know what happened? Everything changed. At first, she didn't notice. Or if she did, she didn't care. I wasn't hurt by that anymore. I was just doing my thing, living my life, remembering I had one. But then something shifted. She started asking questions. "You okay? You seem different." Different how? Different because I wasn't jumping through hoops anymore? Different because I had rediscovered that my time had value? Then came the double texts. The hello, 30 minutes after the first message. The calls. The "I miss talking to you." And here's the uncomfortable truth I had to sit with. She didn't miss me. She missed my availability. She missed having someone who would always be there, always respond, always validate her existence whenever she felt like checking in. She missed having an option she could count on. But I wasn't that anymore, and realizing that hurt, because it meant all those months, all that availability, all that being there. It wasn't about me. It was about the convenience I provided. I was her emotional support animal, always there when she needed comfort, never requiring reciprocation. And the worst part? I'd volunteered for that role. I'd auditioned for it. I'd competed for it. I'd been so grateful just to be needed that I never questioned whether I was wanted. There's a difference between being needed and being wanted. Being needed means you serve a function. Being wanted means you matter as a person. I was needed, never wanted, but I wasn't that anymore. There's this cruel mathematics to relationships. The more available you are, the less attractive you become. The more you chase, the faster they run. It's not fair. It's not romantic. But it's how it is. I spent months trying to earn her attention through availability, through being the perfect, understanding, always there guy. And all it got me was taken for granted. 3 days of silence got me more attention than 3 months of constant availability ever did. Think about that. The first time I went a full day without responding, she sent 3 texts. By the second day, she was calling. By the third day, she was sending those long messages. "Hey, I feel like we haven't talked in forever. Is everything okay between us?" Between us, like there was an us before I disappeared. And I wanted to laugh. Or maybe cry. Because where was this energy when I was available? Where was this concern when I was the one always reaching out? But here's where it gets complicated. Because part of me felt victorious. See? I matter. I have value. Look at her chase me. And part of me felt sad. Because this is what it took. Why couldn't I matter when I was available? That's the question that kept me up at night. Why does my value only exist in my absence? Why do people only want what they can't easily have? Why is availability interpreted as desperation? Why is scarcity interpreted as value? And the answer, I think, is this. Because we don't value what we already have. We only value what we might lose. When I was always available, there was no risk of losing me. I was guaranteed. A sure thing. And humans don't cherish sure things. We take them for granted. But when I disappeared, suddenly there was a possibility of loss. Suddenly I might slip away. Suddenly she had to consider what life would look like without my constant presence. And that's when I became valuable. Not because I changed, but because she might lose me. I don't have a good answer for whether that's love or just fear of loss. I just know it's true. I've tested it, lived it, Proven it over and over. When I'm available, I'm invisible. When I'm scarce, I'm suddenly worth something. And that realization changed everything about how I see relationships. Because I used to think love was about availability, about being there, about showing up, about consistency. And maybe it should be. Maybe in a perfect world, that's what it would be. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where scarcity creates value, where mystery creates attraction, where absence makes the heart grow fonder and presence makes it grow bored. I didn't want to believe this. I fought against it for months. But every time I tested it, the results were the same. Be available, get ignored. Be scarce, get chased. Simple. Fucked up. True. Now I know what you're thinking. This sounds like game playing, manipulation, pick-up artist bullshit. And maybe you're right. Maybe this is all toxic, and I should find someone who values consistency. But here's what I learned. It's not about playing games. It's about having a life. When I was always available, it wasn't because I was so generous and loving. Let me be honest about this. It was because I had nothing else going on. My whole life revolved around waiting for her to need me, checking my phone every 5 minutes, keeping my schedule empty just in case, making her the center of my universe while I orbited at a distance. That's not love. That's not healthy. That's obsession disguised as devotion. When I became scarce, I wasn't being strategic. I was just living, doing things, having priorities that didn't include monitoring my phone every 3 minutes. The scarcity was a byproduct of having self-respect, of having a life worth living beyond someone else's sporadic attention. And that's the real shift. When you're always available, you're broadcasting something. I have nothing better to do than wait for you. My life is on pause until you decide to include me in yours. When you're not always available, you're saying, I have a life. I have priorities. I have value that exists independent of your validation. And weirdly, paradoxically, frustratingly, that's what makes people want you. Not your availability, your unavailability. Not your consistency, your unpredictability. Not your presence, your absence. 6 months of being perfect got me breadcrumbs. 3 days of silence got me chased. So now I'm sitting here, 3 days into this experiment that accidentally became my new reality, watching her try to re-engage. And I have to decide, do I go back to being available? Do I respond immediately, fall back into old patterns, teach her again that my time doesn't matter? Or do I stay here, in this new space where my time has value, my attention is earned, my presence is appreciated, because it's not guaranteed? I think you know what I chose, but it wasn't easy, because part of me still wants to be that available person. Part of me still thinks that's what love should look like, showing up, being there, being consistent. But I tried that. It didn't work. What worked was remembering I existed outside of her attention. What worked was valuing my own time. What worked was stopping my constant pursuit and letting her wonder where I went. And maybe that says something depressing about modern relationships. Maybe it means we're all just playing games, creating artificial scarcity, withholding to create desire. Or maybe it just means that value requires scarcity, that appreciation requires the possibility of loss, that people only chase what might get away. I don't know which one it is. Both feel true and both feel sad. All I know is this. When I stopped being available, everything changed. Not just with her, with everyone. Friends started reaching out more. That buddy who always said we should grab beers sometime actually suggested a specific day, because I stopped saying anytime works and started saying I'm free next Wednesday. People started making actual plans instead of vague, we should hang out sometime promises that never materialized. My calendar went from empty and waiting to actually full with real commitments. Dates stopped flaking. That girl from the dating app? Who kept rescheduling? When I said Friday at 8, otherwise I'm booked for 2 weeks, she suddenly found a way to make Friday work. Funny how that happens. Even at work, people stopped assuming I'd cover their shifts or stay late. When I started saying I have plans tonight instead of sure, no problem, suddenly my co-workers realized my time had value. Turns out, when you act like your time has value, people start treating it like it does. Wild concept. Revolutionary even. So here I am, 3 days of silence. And I'm not waiting anymore. Not for her text, not for her call, not for her to suddenly realize I'm worth consistent effort. I'm just living. And if she wants to be part of that, she can show up. Consistently. With effort. With intention. And if she doesn't, there's probably someone out there who will. Someone who won't need me to disappear to remember I exist. But I'll never know if I keep being so available that I'm invisible. It's been 3 days since I stopped replying, and for the first time in 6 months, I feel like I matter. Not because she's chasing me, but because I stopped chasing her long enough to remember that I exist even when she's not paying attention. That's the real change. Everything else is just noise.